Hi, it's Maria Bird, and this is the tip of the day. I was asked to talk a little bit about PTSD, and I have a story for you. I was on my way to Las Vegas. I was going to Hypnothoughts out in Las Vegas, and while I was going out there, my plane was delayed. So I was sitting next to this guy. We were talking about all the fun things we were going to do out in Las Vegas. I told him I was going to a hypnosis convention, and so he starts to ask me about hypnosis. He says, I was always wondering about hypnosis. Does it help PTSD? And I said, well, it sure does. I said, so what's going on? And so he tells me, about when he was out in Afghanistan and what he was dealing with out in Afghanistan. And while he was telling me, I could tell that he was reliving the story. His eyes were going up, his eyes were going down. So, seeing the picture, he was feeling feelings, seeing the picture, feeling the feelings. And I could see just by the way he was jerking around that he was, getting very, very emotional and, stressed out. And so I said, okay, just for a minute, just stop for a minute. And so he did. And I said, are you reliving this? And he said, yeah. I said, do you have a picture in front of you right now? He goes, yes. I said, are you in the picture or are you out of the picture? And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, just for a minute, just pretend. Okay, so pretend that you're in the picture. And he says, okay, I'm in the picture. And I was like, all right, now take a step out. Take a step out of the picture and just see it in front of you. So he takes a step out of the picture, he sees it in front of him. And I said, all right. I said, are you looking at this in color or black and white? He goes, well, it's in color. I said, can you change it to black and white for me? And he goes, yeah, I can do that. So he's changing it into black and white. And as he's changing it in black and white, I can tell that, he is disassociating from the picture. And so I said, all right, so tell me what's going on. So he's telling me about, what is going on in the scene. And I said, all right. I said, so do you see the picture? And he goes, yeah. And I said, it's up on a screen, right? And he says, yeah. I said, you're in a movie theater? I said, just pretend for a moment you're in a movie theater. It's up on the screen. I said, where are you sitting? He goes, okay. He goes, well, I'm kind of like in the front. And I said, well, let's take us, get up out of your seat, move all the way in the back. And so he moves all the way in the back. Now, part of his problem was that, the sounds, some sounds were, like really triggering him. And so we had to do a little work about, with the sounds as well as, what he was seeing, because it wasn't just that he was reliving a scene, he was also hearing sounds and sounds would trigger him. So we're watching the film. And so he's watching it on the screen, making it black and white. And all of a sudden we start playing with the sound. I said, okay. I said, can you control the volume? And he says, yeah. He says, okay. I said, well, make it louder. And he made it louder. I said, how does that make you feel? And he goes, I don't like it. I said, okay, so now let's just lower it down. So he lowered it down. I said, how do you feel now? He says, oh, I'm feeling okay. I said, so let's watch the movie at this sound. He goes, all right, let's watch the movie at this sound. I said, is the movie theater full? I said, is there people there? I said, are you by yourself? And so he says, well, he goes, I'm kind of by myself. I said, well, let's fill it up. Fill it up with all these different people, right? So he's like, okay. So we're gonna watch a scene. I said, you're safe. You're in the back seat. I said, so we're just gonna watch the scene. It's in black and white. So he's like watching the scene. It's in black and white. And I was like, and as you're watching this battle scene, all of these people, they're talking really, really loud, and they're drowning out the sound. And he goes, yeah. He goes, he goes, yes, they're talking really loud. I can't hear anything that's going on. I was like, okay, so how does that make you feel? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I'm a little frustrated. I said, okay, you're frustrated. I said, but are you feeling, frightened or anything? He goes, no, I'm getting angry. And I was like, okay. I said, so you know what? why don't we control the people, we'll just turn the sound down. So he turns the sound down. I said, we're going to turn the sound down and we're going to make this a silent film. So he says, okay. So we're making it a silent film and he's watching it. I said, how do you feel now? He goes, oh, I feel okay. I said, okay, so you can watch the scenes and, and not hear anything. He goes, yeah. I said, all right, so let's take this scene. I said, and we're going to make it a silent film and we're just going to put words up on the screen. So he does that. I said, all right. I said, so now it's almost like it's an old time movie, with words coming up on the screen. And, instead of, hearing, the sounds of the guns, you're just going to see bang, bang, bang. And he goes, okay. So he's watching it and he sees bang, bang, bang. And I said, all right. And so now you see all of that. I said, let's take this film. I said, and now let's make it just a little bit further. So you're just going to walk away and you're making it a little bit further. I said, how do you feel? And he goes, I feel okay. I said, all right, so this is great. I said, you know how sometimes when you're watching old films, I said, and towards the end, it just starts to fade away. And so he goes, yeah. I said, just make it fade away. I said, just watch it and allow it to just fade away. And so he allowed it to fade away. I went, how do you feel? And he goes, wow. He goes, I feel pretty good. I said, all right. I said, so when you think about this scene, I said, do you see it? And he goes, I'm not really sure. I said, okay. I said, well, when you think about, the sounds, I said, can you hear the sounds? Can you hear it? He's like, no. He goes, I hear the people talking. I was like, okay, so you hear the people talking. I said, let's lower that. I said, you lowered it? He goes, yeah. I said, can you hear the sounds? No. He goes, I can't hear anything at all. I said, how do you feel? And he goes, I feel okay. I said, on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you feel? And he goes, I don't know, maybe about a 6. I said, all right, so you're feeling about a 6. I said, how about we feel a little bit good, a little bit better. And he says, okay. I said, so why don't we switch that out? So, put the scene back up. He says, scene back up. And so he has a scene back up. And I said, you see it. And, and it just faded in for a minute. And all of a sudden, it just changes into your favorite comedy. What's your favorite comedy? So he says Dumb and Dumber. I was like, oh my goodness, in my head. I said, I've never seen Dumb and Dumber. I was like, let me come up with something quick. I said, what's your favorite line? So he says his favorite line, I start laughing, and he starts laughing. So we're both laughing. And I was like, ha, 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 ha. So how does that make you feel? And he's like, oh my God, that's so funny. I said, so when you think of the scene that you were thinking in the black and white, I said, how do you feel? And he goes, oh, well, he goes, I don't feel anything. He goes, this is funny, And I was like, all right. I said, this is great. I said, let's just wipe everything and let's start all over again. I said, so tell me about what happened to you when you were in Afghanistan. So he starts to talk about it and he goes, I don't feel anything about this. And he said, yeah. I said, isn't that great? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, that's, I said, what I just did was something that's called waking hypnosis. I said, so you weren't necessarily in a trance, but you were in a trance because you were all in your head. I said, so, I mean, when you're thinking about this particular place that you're at, when you were in Afghanistan and you were, like in this scene, I said, do you really feel like you're in there anymore? And he goes, no, I don't feel like I was in there. I said, do you see how quick this was? I said, this was just roughly about 5 minutes. And he goes, yeah, that's right. I said, so, like when you feel like, nervous and everything, I said, what happens to you? So he starts telling me, he goes, I get, like, feelings, like nervousness. I said, where in the body? So he shows me it's in his belly, and like his diaphragm. And I was like, all right. So I said, what happens, in your belly? I said, do you feel like, it twisting? I said, what kind of movements do you feel? And he goes, well, it's kind of like going all over the place. And as he was doing that, I just took his hand and I just straightened it out. I said, how do you feel now? And he just looked at me. He says, it's gone. I said, oh, I said, I said, that's really great. I said, do you see how fast this works? And he goes, yes, I do. I said, so this is just a couple of things that you can do, when you go see a hypnotist. I said, and then what a hypnotist would do, most likely, is just take you into trance and just, reinforce what we just did. And he goes, wow, this was great. He goes, oh my God. He goes, I feel so much better. I said, well, I'm really happy for you. I said, if you want to, work, I said, a little bit further, I said, you can. I gave him my card. I said, we can do stuff online. I said, or, if you want, somebody in person, I said, I can, recommend somebody that's, in your area. And so he said, this is really, really great. He goes, I'm not sure if I'm going to need you. He goes, but I have your card and I will definitely call you if, and when, I get triggered. So I haven't heard anything from him, but, it was a great experience for him. It was a great experience for me. And one of the tips I'm going to say is just have confidence in what you do. I said, work with what you have. I was working with somebody who was hearing things, and not necessarily, like he was seeing pictures, but he was also hearing, gunshot, gunshot, gunshot. And so I was just working with the sound. And, you can play with different things as long as, are constantly checking in with the person, with your client, as to where they are in it. If it's bothering them, you just, take it out. If they are living in it, if they're being in a scene, just take them out of the scene. If they are, I don't know, just, uh, if they're like totally engrossed in what they're doing, make them stop. Make them stop so the picture stops and they have something, just something small to focus on. And so, yeah, these are the tips of the day. So, I hope everybody has a great day, and thank you for watching.